So why at the Astro did you say to me that God is the most stupidest thing that humans have come up with?
So I'm not sitting there going like, I don't want to believe in God. I just don't.
I mean, I believe in God, not religious stuff.
You're looking at it more of like black and white.
If there's a God, he knows what it would take to convince me.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to give that to me, well, like, what more can I do?
Welcome to Wafflin, everyone. We've
Dancing.
got Malfoy
And Artie.
and an astronaut.
Yes, go.
This man is...
Why did you say that?
Wait, what did you...
Yes, guys.
No,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh.
I'm just hyping myself up.
So, believe it or not, everyone, the Batch and Arthur podcast is opposite Wafflin. Mm-hmm. It'd be cool to actually show a visual of this right now to see what we see. This is how the podcast world actually works. We're not in our own room. We're, in fact, all on top of each other.
It does look like that though, doesn't it? Like they look sick.
Oh, yeah,
the
people are
sets.
never going to know.
Yeah, people will never know, but this is how it actually works. So, Arthur, you now live as our next door neighbour. Like, how does that feel?
I do. It's kind of weird, like looking half at space and half at like a Miami background. But your set's very cool as well. So
Thanks, Dan.
I would
it
say
up.
you've probably got like the highest production level set on.
No, you've got the highest.
Nah, that was cool. That was one of the big things that Chip was constantly saying, because like Chip's big into the old space stuff as well, and he was like, he just wanted something to be proud of, so he worked very hard on that.
Well, so
Along
are
with
you...
the rest of the team?
So you are an astronaut?
Kind of, yeah. I'm supposed to be an astronaut, and Batch is supposed to be an alien, but
No, this guy takes things literal.
No, in real life, you're an astronaut. That's what I've heard on the grapevine. What are you laughing at?
no, never been to outer space, sadly.
No.
No,
Oh.
maybe one day.
Well, I want to play a little game of 2 lies, 1 truth.
Ooh, classic.
What?
On the classic.
Now, number 1. I had spaghetti bolognese for dinner last night.
Disgusting.
Enough spicy.
Number 2, I'm wearing a pair of Adidas Predators.
Well, you can.
The football boots.
What are you doing that for, lad?
Well, number 3, you're going to get £20 right now.
It can't be that one, Theo.
I don't believe it.
He's too tight.
Well, thankfully, our sponsors, Revolut, are going to take care of that this week.
Oh, I love Revolut.
£20 for all of us? Yes, my friends, Revolut are giving you £20 when you sign up and use your card one time. Now, on top of that, Revolut is so good for travel. I use it all the time. What else, Malfoy?
And not only that, boys, you can get paid 1 business day early if you move your salary into Revolut.
What the jeebers? You can also stay on top of your friends owing you money back. Why? Because there's a feature where you can easily just pay your friends back, or they can pay you back so quickly, dickily.
You can even type to each other in their little chat as well.
Wait, what? Make a friend?
Yeah, they got Revolut chat. So I could send Luke a message because he's a stingy little bastard. Say, give me that 20 back. Send, receive, and chase money with Revolut.
What's more is you can earn from your savings account in Revolut because their interest rates are incredible.
Yeah, and interestingly, they actually pay the interest daily and you can withdraw it at any time.
See what you did there? Interestingly, for interest. And that's right, boys. I'm going to use my Revolut card, get the £20 and put it straight in my savings account.
Oh, so it'll add more money into your account for your. And if you didn't want to do that, you could actually use that £20 for like dinner, new t-shirt. The actual limitless possibilities are incredible. So use our link to sign up to Revolut right now. Use your card one time and you will get £20 straight into your account to do whatever you want with. Do it. Enjoy it. Back on with the show.
No, I love science. I'm a big fan of science and the scientific endeavor.
Ironic
I think
thing
it's really
is, though,
interesting.
this is ironic.
Is this gonna
Now,
be-
I've never actually deeped how ironic this is.
What is
You're going to
ironic?
misuse the word ironic here.
As a man of science,
Mm-hmm.
why did you choose law?
Interesting.
He's a fully qualified lawyer.
You're a lawyer.
Well, I have.
Are you a qualified lawyer if you've
He's
got a law
more
degree?
qualified than you, that's fucking for sure,
Well,
mate.
Probably.
So I did my law degree, did my master's, and then did the LPC. So I passed my qualifying exams.
Oh, you
what
did
did
the
you do?
LPC?
Started working at a
I
yeah, I
didn't
did
do
LPC.
LPC. I just did degree.
Mate, he
And
yeah,
then
carry on.
I joined a US law firm in biotech, to be fair. So there was it's the second biggest biotech firm in the world. It was a cool, interesting, sciencey law firm. But I got in. You have to practice as a lawyer for 2 years as a trainee before
Are you
you
not
qualify.
like 20?
And I did I'm 28.
Oh,
You're
what?
28.
I am.
Shut
29.
up.
Did you not know that?
I genuinely
About
thought you were maybe
17.
21.
Oh, no way. I do have a bit of a baby face.
Aren't you born in March?
April.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did my first seat in the firm, and YouTube was starting to take off, so I just went into YouTube instead.
What?
Left the law world behind me.
It's kind of scary. I said a similar story to you, actually. You
Wait,
actually left.
what's you?
Yeah, you
did
left the law. You left
I
the
did.
law
I did.
firm
I
behind you.
studied law,
Oh, no way.
but I fell into this with these boys like in second year. So kind of by the time third year came around, I knew that.
Nice.
I wasn't going to go.
I started during my LPC.
Okay, no, that must have been intense. The
Wait, hold
LPC 's
up,
well
hold up.
intense.
So wait. So you would defend people, or would you like want to? No. Because I've heard that some lawyers.
They don't do any defense.
No, listen, they would. So you'd have some dodgy pedo rapist, right? And you now know that he's fully guilty. He's done awful things, but now you got to defend him.
So some lawyers did
Is
walk
that
away.
the sort of thing you would opt to do?
Diddy's lawyer did just walk
Yeah,
away,
Diddy's-
didn't he? He did just step back.
And this was the guy that defended Osama bin Laden.
Wait, what? Wait, Bin Laden's lawyer said no to Diddy.
Well, he was working as Diddy's lawyer.
So he
and
saw
was
the
like, nah.
law case was like, too.
He obviously saw something that took him to the point where he's like,
So is that the sort of thing you would do?
No, so there are two general types of law. There's like the criminal one where you go and you sort of become a barrister and you rock up in court and you defend people or whatever. And there's a solicitor where you sort of sit in an office and write advice. And so mine was more if a company wanted to sell shares and raise a bunch of money to invest in a pharmaceutical product, maybe like you need share purchase agreements. So I'd help draft that. So a bit more boring.
Mad thing. So how come you would ditch that? Such like intelligent, really actually special
Respectable as well.
and respectable sort of career to become a YouTuber,
Which is not respectable.
which is really not respectable and actually frowned upon in the eyes of parents.
Especially back in there.
yeah, I think it used to be. I don't think it is so much anymore.
No, but Lukey, this was back in day when this happened.
Yeah, how long have you been a YouTuber?
Wait, why do we? Wait, so
Yeah.
4 odd years.
yeah, so why did you ditch? Why did you choose YouTube over that?
Yeah, I think I saw my parents do quite a similar thing. Well, heard of them doing a similar thing. So they both, my dad studied law actually, but went into accountancy, and my mum qualified as an accountant as well. And they both left. My dad left and essentially set up a business and started through business. And my mum now works in like a homeless charity. She runs an alms house. And my mum always says that the happiness she gets from like providing for people that need it gives her way more happiness than having lovely handbags and big houses ever did. And my dad says that the enjoyment he gets every single day waking up and going like, I don't know what today is what today has to hold for me, but it's all in my hands. It's all up to me. You know, the sky's the limit when you're a businessman, I guess, when you're doing your own thing. And I just sort of liked the idea of both. Obviously being a YouTuber is not quite as noble as running a homeless charity, but I do think there is like tremendous value in bringing like happiness and joy to people. And part of the reason we do the podcast is like we really enjoy speaking about like topics that we find particularly important. And so it's very, find it very fulfilling doing what we do now.
That's one thing about your podcast. You don't shy away from any subjects, do you?
No, not
Well, like what?
Well, anything really. You had
Yeah, what's the juiciest thing that you've come out with?
I reckon theirs is more intelligent than ours.
Oh, no one disputed that, Lukey boy.
I wouldn't say so. You guys, I've obviously see quite a lot of. No, so let me do that again.
That's going to be on his notes.
I'm just getting shy because I've seen the clip so many times, and I'm really proud of you. You bring up some, you brought up some cool points before because me and Theo like speaking about this kind of stuff. We're on holidays and stuff, and sometimes I see him bring in some of the interesting topics into waffling. And
Thank you. I get shut
and
down.
you guys have good conversations about them, I think. But yeah, we sort of the two main things, I guess, are science and like philosophy and stuff. So we speak a lot about like morality, and we did an episode a couple of weeks ago on like exposing our moral hypocrisy, like saying like what we think are moral things and how we actually don't follow our moral intuitions as often as we would like to or think we should, and that kind of stuff.
So you reckon you go against your own morals quite a lot?
All the time.
Do you reckon we all do?
Yeah. And
Like,
it's-
what scenario?
What would be like the primary example
So,
of that?
so a really good. Have you bought any clothes recently?
Oh, I hate. No.
well, we're talking about like consumerism.
No,
like
this,
fast
this,
fashion.
this is. I had this big argument about this argument. I really strongly disagree with it. That's my stance on it. Now tell them.
Interesting. Essentially, it was a long segment. I don't want to repeat the whole segment again, but essentially, if your choice between two rooms and you can either go into one and get a brand new pair of shoes, or you can go into another room and save a man's life, most people would go, "Oh, I'm saving the man's life,"
Yeah.
like every single time. But essentially, when you walk down this road and you slightly change the scenario bit by bit, you essentially get to the bit where the last time you were out and you bought a pair of shoes, you technically could have put that money towards saving someone's life, maybe in a global conflict somewhere, from disease prevention schemes, that kind of thing. And so quite often, even though you know that money would be better spent elsewhere and that would be a more fulfilling, more moral, and maybe you feel like you have this moral duty to act in that certain way in those scenarios, even though the outcome's the exact same, you still go out and buy a new pair of shoes. And that's just like one example of when you're not, fulfilling what you think might be a moral duty or more.
Do you not feel though that like often people would not well, you have these schemes, you have charities and whatnot, and often people may feel like, yeah, I want to give this money, but I don't know where that money's actually going. So it's like, there's all these, imagine if I tried to, playing devil's advocate, if I tried to solve all these different issues, I'd actually go crazy myself. So maybe treating myself to the shoes is, it's a bit of, it's not as deep.
Also, that scenario is not the same situation.
Yeah, I think you have to sort of like accept that you're talking about the consequences here. I mean, what's your main issue with it?
Well, I just think it's bollocks.
Wait, but why?
I'll tell you why. Because it's not the same situation. You are being told you have to choose between a life or a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
When you buy a pair of trainers in the shop, you are not choosing that. You're buying
You
a
are
pair
absolutely making that choice.
Well, I can't do both.
You could spend that money, the money that you spent on those shoes, by saving a life. Like I was saying, like you can donate to charities that
Fly to a country and
No, but I think what you're...
I know.
The difference is that one is a conscious decision
in
and
theory,
one is just free will.
But what I'm saying, in theory, it makes sense what you're saying, right? But in real life and practice, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's not how life. That's not how it works in real life.
Not how it works in terms of what. It's quite a vague. I don't really know how to. You can't just say, but in reality, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't though, does it?
So are you saying like buying the shoes is more of actually like a butterfly effect of like, so there's never a room where it's just buy these shoes or kill this person.
Yeah.
Right? It's often
many other factors going on in that scenario. 100%.
Are you saying that, okay...
Like me giving £100 to a charity, that's not going to save a life. Chances are. You don't know where's that money going. Is that going to have a direct impact? You don't know that. Hopefully it does, right?
Yeah.
It's a negative way to view charities.
No, but how do you know that is going to where that person is?
No,
if you give it to that person.
You don't technically,
but when you're paying into a charity, it's doing fantastic things for fantastic causes, but it is getting spread throughout. So that £100 is like £5 here, £5 there, whatever, £2.
Yeah, but I don't think it's done on a sense of like your £100 didn't actually save someone's life because we actually had to put that through to admin costs. It's just everyone's contribution essentially goes into like a whole, doesn't it? And then it's the whole contribution that makes the impact.
No, I do agree. But the trainer thing, do you not think that just in real life that it's just...
No, I get it because as a scenario, it's like obviously completely unrealistic and would never happen. But the principle exists because...
I understand it exists, but in real life, it doesn't exist.
Well, it does.
So like that's why but those theories like
I understand that you're saying like it doesn't exist, but you have to say like it doesn't exist because I don't think we understand.
But I find it very hard to articulate my points.
No,
I can't
that's
get it out of my head. I really do struggle.
Yeah.
But also, I could go down the street and buy £100 pair of trainers and also give £100 to charity.
Or you could give £200 to charity and save two people.
Yeah.
Because where is the line of like, treat yourself, look after yourself, if you've put in a lot of work, enjoy it. And then where's the line of like making the contribution that you actually could with your efforts to help the world?
And also where you make the decision to who do you help? Do you see what I mean? Why is one charity deserving of more?
Yeah, I mean, what is nuts is that like obviously little individuals like us, like we want to make a difference, but like when what burnt down?
Grenfell.
Notre Dame.
Oh.
Yeah, when that burned down, is that the pronunciation?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
There you go. Like the amount of billionaires that got together and like fixed that instantly.
Yeah,
it's like
mad.
There are people on this planet that could fix big issues like very quickly if they all wanted
also,
to.
If you look at the response to like the Ukraine war, think how many Western countries instantly like jumped in there. But then when you have a conflict in the Middle East, maybe Syria, or like nothing.
Yeah. It is a bit mental. Are there any other big, like, stark beliefs or morals that you have that you reckon are like, my name's ArthurTV. This is what I think.
This is what I think. I don't know. I think the real difficulty in like identifying those is like everyone thinks their beliefs are rational. Otherwise you wouldn't hold that belief. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So like something that I believe and I think is rational, I'm not going to think is as extreme as like someone else.
But in the eyes, you could sort of gauge if you like read the room of the world of like, okay, this could come across. To me, it's rational, but into the eyes of the world, maybe.
Our most viewed podcast episode is probably the most controversial, partly because of the way it was titled, and it was Science versus Religion featuring ChrisMD.
Good
and
yeah,
good
featuring ChrisMD.
One.
Featuring ChrisMD.
Little crossbar challenge.
Yeah, no, he's obviously quite passionate about it and loves exploring those types of topics, and so do Batch and I. I mean, neither of us are believers in God. Mm-hmm. Neither was Chris, which meant that perhaps the podcast was a bit more one-sided.
Right.
So we both, I guess, like articulated perhaps like our standards for evidence, like things we do believe. I think a big part of the reason why we speak about morality and philosophy so much is, I guess, if you don't have a religious belief, you haven't got a scripture to go essentially like fulfill that foundation for like a moral, essentially like objective morality, to be like, this is wrong because God says it, and you don't really need to worry about, questioning it. Whereas if you're an atheist like me, you're sitting there going like, well, I have to figure out whether things are moral or immoral, and how do I do that? I've got to read through hundreds of years of moral philosophy to figure out like what the people way smarter than me have.
To play devil's advocate though, do you not think that if someone's religious, they're not solely relying on their God to tell them what's right and wrong? It's more of like a guideline, and it's still up to them to make their own decisions about what is right and wrong.
I think that tends to be the case with most religious people. I mean, you obviously like, you have terms like religious fundamentalism to say that there are certain people who are, stick to the word, to the scripture, strict interpretation, all that kind of stuff. And you hear like a lot of religious moderates that will say, oh, maybe like this passage of this bit of scripture is something that doesn't morally align with me anymore. Therefore, I'm not going to like work it into my everyday life. So yeah.
You two have kind of contrasting beliefs, I believe.
Maybe not. I don't actually know Arthur very well. So, I mean, I believe in God, not religious though.
Okay, interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think people often will go, oh, you believe in God, so you're a massive Bible basher, you're freaking like, can I use that word?
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? So like, you follow all these freaking like make-believe or controlling whatever. But like, I haven't even explored any of that personally. I have a conversation with God that I completely surrendered, that I don't have things figured out, and I'm open to be guided by the higher power. Mm-hmm. That's more of just like what I do. And ever since going down that line, things have just clicked in my life.
So have you gone from being an atheist to being?
It's more of just like more just like spiritual in terms of like exploring what I can do to, I guess, align myself with my purpose and just basically like fulfill whatever I've come here to. I definitely believe that like we've come here to fulfill something. Mm-hmm. It's just like figuring that out, but almost rather than just feeling like I need to figure everything out for myself, that sort of drove me crazy. Mm-hmm. And sort of surrendering to the fact that like I don't have it all figured out has definitely like given me a peace of mind. So obviously in certain eyes, they'll just go, oh yeah, offloading that responsibility may give people, like an easier way to go about things because they don't feel so inundated with responsibility. Or there may be a source, or there may be a God, or there may be a higher power. How do you know for sure that that's not the case?
So interesting. So I use the term atheist, and atheist can mean someone who is either a disbeliever who believes there is no God, or someone who lacks a belief in God. And so I just lack a belief in God. Some people use the term agnostic, but I think like definitionally I more stick to that's someone who believes that, nothing is known or can be known about the existence or nature of like God or gods. So it's quite nothing can be known about it. I'm more traditional, sort of like I'm not convinced either way. And so I've spent a lot of time looking at the arguments for God and against God, and I'm not convinced either way. I don't think anything I've seen so far, and I've spent a lot of time like researching it, reading about it. I follow a lot of like theistic creators and stuff. And I've just never really been convinced by any of the arguments.
See, what God. I'd say is that like reading about it is one thing, because I'd be like, oh, it's a load of bollocks. It's only when I completely went, I completely surrendered to this, and I actually actively, openly said and like committed that I then actually felt. And because I don't think it's something you can read and go, oh, that makes sense, because it doesn't make sense. Sounds like a load of bollocks. Well,
yeah, I think there's a lot.
And what I don't think it is. I don't think it's like some geezer called God, right? Genuine. I think it's your higher self, where we will actually come from, like the us that isn't filtered through the human brain with our very limited capacity of understanding and consciousness. I think it's far beyond that, and you can get, if you are open to that, you can connect. And I don't know, I can't even tell you what that is, but I believe there's a higher power and a higher source that we can, if we're open to it, connect to, because our little brains here can only understand so much. And that's where I'm like, to me, you can read all the books in the world, look at all the history of what other human beings have said, but it's only so much, because we're far beyond just this realm, I believe.
That's interesting. There's one like specific argument against the existence of God, and it's essentially, so I'm what I would call a non-resistant non-believer. So I'm not sitting there going like, I don't want to believe in God. I just don't, and I'm open to the idea. And I think because I'm doing things like reading the Bible, reading the Quran, like listening to these people speak about it, looking through centuries of arguments, you know, you've got the kind of like cosmological argument where you go like, you know, everything must have come from somewhere. There must have been something to start it all. Like logical arguments. Like I feel like I am trying quite hard to look for God if there is one. And I think the lack of evidence I've found, it's called divine hiddenness. It's the argument from divine hiddenness. It's kind of like if God existed and he loves us all, he would want us all to find him. And so he would put like enough evidence out there for people who are open to finding him to find him. And I think the fact that I'm a non-resistant non-believer and that I'm looking for God. I mean, I started off as a Christian, so I used to go to church all the time, never really found that feeling of God. Like, you know, used to think he existed, used to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And then the older I got, not only was I not particularly convinced that I felt the presence of God, I didn't really find any arguments at all in favor, like persuasive. So I was going like, if I'm going to believe, it's got to be based on something. And I've already done the like submitting myself, going in full blown. I've looked for it, and it's like at this point, if there's a God, he knows. If he's all knowing, he's going to know what it would take to convince me. Yeah. And if he's not going to give that to me, well, like what more can I do?
I was going to say, until you actually mentioned that last bit, I was going to say that's not, in my opinion, that's not what it's about though. It's about just like how you feel, and if it works for you, then go for it. Whereas you're looking at it more of like black and white, is and it isn't, very like a lawyer's perspective, up until you said you had already surrendered yourself. So it's a slightly different viewpoint for you, where you have been there, done that, and now you've seen the other side.
And so like, would you say you've had like an experience that's confirmed that God is
I'd say for me, it's like the years and years of like trying to do it all myself, trying these different like spiritual techniques, trying, you know, meditating, whatever, breath work, the lot, nothing has come close to the feeling of like being absolutely who I am and feeling I'm on the right path since December, when I fully just like basically like surrendered myself in terms of like knowing where, like what I want to do, who I am, where I want to go, things clicking into place, just like generally just my life clicking into where it feels it's meant to go. It hasn't done that in my whole life in the way that it's doing now.
And you think, do you attribute that to your belief in God?
I would say it's a very interesting coincidence. I don't know for sure. But I'd say it's a very interesting coincidence.
It's a very interesting argument, isn't it, to dispute a potentially like hypothetical character or individual if someone genuinely feels it. Like if you feel it's real, then it's...
Placebo effect is the biggest force on earth. Placebo, if you genuinely believe something and your body, mind, soul is reacting in that way, then it's actually happening, right? So whether it's one big placebo effect, I don't believe that. I believe there's something more. I almost want to change the name from it just being God to like higher power, source, where we're all actually from, right? Because the word God just fucks with people. It just goes, oh, religious, oh no, also load of bollocks. But I just feel with every, like the people that think that they've got it all, that they need to take control of everything in their life, it's down to you, it's all on you. Like, probably the people with the biggest anxiety disorders, biggest depression disorders, like all of that. Because I've got to figure all this out. Oh my God, I can't figure this out. Our brains can't figure it all out. Whereas when you trust that it's not on you, just exist, just allow, and you will be guided. That's what I believe.
You necessarily need God for that, because that's almost like a philosophical take. Just going like, you can have all those things. You can go, you know, have that acceptance of maybe I don't have everything figured out. Maybe I don't have to make all the right decisions. I think that is why like philosophy is so interesting when you really get into it, because it's just so full of people going like, life is full of shit that happens, and like, you know, you don't necessarily cry or get angry when the rain comes when you've seen the weather report in the morning, because like, you know, it's coming. And if you just accept that life is full of twists and turns and you can't predict everything, and you don't necessarily know where everything's going, you know, that's like the foundation of Stoicism. And like, do you think you could have all of those things and feel the same way you do without this? Like, where does the higher power necessarily come into that?
I think it's the knowing of why you came, why you chose to come into ArthurTV's body and live the life that you're living from where you were. I do believe that we're going through different lifetimes, different dimensions, different realms. You decide to come to Earth for a reason, right? And it's the you that knew exactly why you come here. That's God. That's what you're getting. Source energy of you, like of your entire consciousness. I'd say that's what you're basically allowing to come through. That's what you're connecting to. And I feel like in times of like, for me, like total stillness, like meditation, like when you completely just like allow the fucking stuff that comes through, for me, I believe there is a connection that occurs.
Interesting.
It also doesn't matter what you really believe as long as it works for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it exists if it exists for you.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, for a lot of people as well, in so many scenarios, and so many people have turned to Stoicism or whatever, but especially within like prisons and stuff, like people who turn to God and they've accepted thing, it can help them. What do you say to that? Because you're not out there saying you're wrong, you shouldn't believe this. You're out
but I think that's more of a comfort thing. There are people out there that do that. That's more of a comfort thing for people that have committed like really heinous crimes, and then they want something to sort of alleviate the weight of guilt that is on them. Like that's why a lot of people turn to religion in prison.
And I think I wouldn't, like I don't think I have any interest at all in putting someone off religion for the sake of it. I think I definitely have a strong belief in belief. So like I can see like what this does for Joe. And to me, I don't really have an interest in trying to pick that apart or go like, let's go through this logically because you might be wrong. Like I don't necessarily see any benefit in that. And like I have Muslim and Christian friends who I look at them and their religion gives their life like so much meaning and so much structure, and they're so happy. And regardless of whether or not it's true, like I don't think that they would necessarily be better off like not believing. I just find a lot of enjoyment in like the debate itself and speaking through it. And obviously like there are some people who, on the flip side, there are some people who'd want to, you know, sometimes we'll get a comment or something on the podcast and it'll be like, hey, like I've been really doubting my religion for a while. I've been really fearful of maybe going to hell, and that's put me off leaving my religion. But this kind of idea that, you know, I was told growing up that I couldn't be a good person without God because, you know, it's all subjective. I could do, you know, there's so much like great literature out there that like genuinely like hundreds, if not thousands of years of people have written stuff down and thought through these things and gone like, you can have a lot of meaning and purpose and you can be a good person, all this kind of stuff without religion. So I think it's more, when we speak about it on the podcast, it's more for people who don't have religion to like find those things like the purpose, the morality, all that kind of stuff, rather than it is to go, oh, hey, religious man over there who's like, who feels very at peace when he prays, who feels very happy and healthy and has this lovely sense of community and is lovely to his neighbor because of his religion. Like, I think there's absolutely nothing to gain from going up to him and being like, hey, by the way, I don't think your God's real.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, there's insufficient evidence, by the way, that your God's real.
So why at the Astro did you say to me that God is the most stupidest thing that humans have come up with?
That's not what I said.
That's what you said to me.
I defended him there.
I'm glad Theo said on the thing, he was like, that's not what he said.
But
so
very out of context.
I will say...
you said it was, and then you were like, which God is it then? Because there's so many and it's must, you know what I mean?
That's true, because I mean, I believe in a Spinozan God. Like, you know, if you had said I believe in the God of Spinoza, and Spinoza is the same. That's the God of Baruch Spinoza. He's a Jewish philosopher from like the 17th century, and he believed in a God. And when Einstein says, I believe in a God, a lot of people go, oh, he's religious. He just believes in Spinoza's God. And Spinoza has a very similar God to you. He thinks that God is the like laws of nature and the laws of the cosmos and the beautifully arranged nature of reality.
Science.
He said he doesn't really believe that there's a personal God that hears your prayers and interacts in your life like God. And if you want to find more about God, you do that through science, and you do it like you figure out how the universe began, how humans came from, much more simple life forms, all this kind of stuff. And so if you'd been like, I believe in that kind of God, I would have been like, oh, that's fair. But I think there are other gods that if you had said, I believe in this kind of God, I would say, well, I'm almost certain that God doesn't exist. I mean, there are certain gods, like you have like more traditional views of God,
Vishnu.
like an all
Ganesh.
like the classic traditional gods, let's say like an all-powerful God. Oh. Like I think they logically can't exist. If someone said, I believe in an all-powerful God, because you have like logical contradictions, like can that God make a rock so heavy that he can't lift it? Mm-hmm. He either can, and he's not all powerful, or he can't, he's all powerful. So I think if you've been like that God, I'd be like, that's unreasonable, that's silly. If you're a believer in an Abrahamic God, maybe there would be an interesting debate. But
it was more of when I just said like God, and you were like, this fucking divvy.
I will say I was being much more facetious, and I do think Theo teed it up to be like that. And I do want to say I apologise.
No, you don't need to apologise.
No, because I don't want you to think that I was necessarily cheating on you. I think Theo pulled me over, and given we were doing the football, there was a lot of bravado of like...
Lots of bravado,
a lot of bravado.
A lot of alphas in the same room.
And Theo had been saying for ages, you need to come on the pod, and he was like, you need to come on the pod. I think Lewis maybe was speaking about something religious, and he was basically like, oh, Arthur, you're an atheist. You need to come on the pod and speak to Joe. And I was like, oh, why? Like, does this divvy believe in God or something? It was meant to be a sort of like rile you up, get you kind of like, oh yeah, you're an idiot for not
like a rattle.
It was a lot.
It did rattle you, to be fair.
Can I ask, where do thoughts come from? Like something comes into your head, where's it come from?
Yeah. Who knows?
Because I often wonder, I'm like, like sometimes you will do something or something will come in your head and it's almost like it's been placed in there, or there's almost like guidance that's come to you. I'm just like, where the fuck does that come from?
Consciousness.
Yeah, but like...
The brain.
Yeah, but where's it? You've not decided... So
I've decided to move blood around my body.
No, so that's obviously the subconscious. You got like, definitely there's some impulsive actions going on. But as in like, in terms of like ideas, thoughts, like... Your life going the way it's gone, yours going where it's gone. How's it all just gone? How's it all just gone like this? Is there a level of guidance that we are getting from somewhere, or is it just total? We're winging it, and it's accident. Like, do you know what I mean?
But that's the debate ultimately, isn't it? Because you're at this point, there's no way we can prove either way. I don't think you can factually disprove the existence of a God.
You can measure consciousness
to what extent?
There we go.
Eye movement, rapid eye.
iMovie.
Yeah, you can. There is science and data out there that you can look at. You can attach people up to like these machines.
Yeah.
When they're asleep, and you can tell when they're dreaming, when they're not dreaming, when you're dreaming about a certain thing. You can measure it.
Yeah, you can see the neurons firing, but I don't think we really understand consciousness. It is really interesting. The people at the top in science studying it all the time can't explain it yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like where there's only a limited we can understand and perceive with our human brains. So like, I don't think at the moment, but what I'm saying is that like anyone that goes, I know for sure this is the case, you just...
that's not even science's argument. Science has never said this is...
No.
There are only some things that can be factually proved.
Can I ask, how this new device that like Tesla or someone's making?
Tesla.
Oh, the Neuralink.
The Neuralink, right? So that is a device, say for like a paraplegic or someone like that who can't move. Quadriplegic, yeah. That they wear it and their thoughts can make like things happen on a computer. Is that right?
Yeah.
How the fuck does that work?
I think also, isn't it also about being able to put...
But that's what I'm talking about.
It can put information into people's heads.
But mate, what I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying very closely here, because it's actually fucking big time.
Okay.
So if we can't measure consciousness, how do we then abstract?
I mean abstract?
Extract?
How do we extract our thoughts into physical action?
What did you just ask?
Yeah, how do you think about something and do it? Like, I want to lift this up. I'm lifting it up.
That's not what I'm saying here, brother.
What the fuck are you on about, that kid?
Neuralink, right, takes your thought
Yes.
and you're not moving, but it will happen on the computer or whatever.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I know.
So you're
what
just-
you mean.
Explain.
Well, instead of the computer, like you normally would do it with your arm, I guess it's just instead sending that signal.
Oh, that's all well and good just saying, it's just brain doing it.
Yeah, but is it the brain?
No, but-
Yeah, but the brain
you
is
hear
like
what I'm saying?
the brain's essentially like
neurology.
a big motherboard.
Neuron
What
pathways
motherboard?
firing.
Motherboard neurology, just throwing out random scientific words here, lads.
It's like electric.
I think the general. So let's say, for example, you've got no arms, you've got arms. We would look at
legs.
Joe's brain, and we would be like, when he wants to wave his left hand,
Yeah, like this.
these are the neurons we see firing. Like when he goes, I want to wave my left hand. These are like you're watching a brain, like you said, in whatever technology it is that's recording all of this, and we go when we put that on his head, and then we see the same things firing. Obviously, he hasn't got a left hand. The computer can see that and go, oh, this is him wanting to wave his left hand.
It's like,
What are you talking
it's like Steve Hawking, mate. He can see.
Steve.
Yeah.
He knows him as Steve.
Nickname basis. He's dead.
It's not a nickname. It's just
Stephen Hawking, mate.
yeah. But I didn't want to be so
Saying
formal.
Steve Gerrard.
Yeah, but anyway.
Loads of people call him Steve Gerrard.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But
Even the song is
The
Steve
song,
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
What, so you're thinking in your head?
No, so
like,
he's
move
obviously
my
thinking.
left
Then
arm.
all of a sudden, this little computer does the talking for him. It's not his actual voice.
I think he's got something on his eye that he twitches.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
he does twitch.
So I think that's how he. I think he.
How do you
controls
think
it
about
with the
moving your left
muscle
arm?
there.
Like, are you saying like left arm move and it just? No, you don't think. You just do.
You do.
Yeah, but you also you don't like you do, but like it's still you actively think to move that. You're just not aware of it. It's like breathing.
Yeah, but how do you explain?
It's like driving a car. When you first do it, you think about every single movement.
What's
Now I
that
bet you
thing
get in
we
the car and
talk
just
about all the
drive.
time? You know, like
Cocksucking.
no, when you're like just doing something, you're not thinking about your
Flow state.
flow state. Explain flow state to me.
Well, it's just
You're not thinking.
Surely the subconscious mind,
mean?
subconscious mind is obviously doing a lot more than
taking
just.
over.
Yeah. Well, something I do actually want to know your thoughts on as well is like, a lot of people think that the government or higher powers put things in our water, drinking water, toothpaste, etc., to like dumb us down.
Right.
What are your views on this,
is this
Arthur?
the right argument.
Yeah, fluoride, etc., soaps, blah blah blah. Do you think there's any weight to that scientifically, or do you think it's a load of bollocks?
Well, I mean,
Just say it.
Say it, mate.
It's a load of bollocks.
no.
Get
I'm
your
sorry,
knob out.
It's a really boring answer, but it's the exact same thing. You know how you were saying we can't explain consciousness, so you think that people who say it's definitely just science, even though we haven't discovered it yet, you think that that's irrational. It's like, why are you committing to this? Why are you not open-minded about the fact that it could be God implanting a soul in us or something like that? I think the rational answer is just to say, I don't know. And I think, unfortunately, so rather than
Mate,
going like,
no.
it could be this, you know what, I think it's God, or I go, oh, blah, blah,
Well, not
it's
God.
God.
No, it's the government. Like,
Mate,
do
are
you
you
think?
seriously
wait,
hearing
wait.
what you're saying?
The government.
No. I was asking about because the government's mate or the higher
government are not
powers
trying to dumb
no,
us down.
No, but they might, mate. There's
they-
a lot of people think that they are.
Putting dumb pills in our water.
No, mate. A lot of people think fluoride, etc. Like things like this,
Yeah, but
they put into our
Isn't that to
what
like
we consume.
to negate like the third eye or something?
Some bollocks like the pin it.
Fucking hell. You're acting like we don't have geniuses in this human race, mate.
No, wait. What are you getting so rattled about? It's just this actually.
There's too, I know, I'm fed up of this. There's
Wait,
too many,
what the
like,
fuck
there's
is he
too
doing?
many, what do you call it, like conspiracists out there.
Wait, no, that
Conspiracy-
is just like a bog standard. Like there are things that they put in our water and soap, etc. That
you're saying it's a dumb
that can.
But is that not to
Yeah,
clean
like-
the water and purify it?
No, but mate, surely you've heard like the arguments of like what they may be putting in. Look, mate, if you're rubbing something into your glands every day in soap, could it be a good idea to put something in there that might affect you in a way that maybe the higher powers who have clearly done lots of other evil things.
But then
they may want to.
What, so deodorant increases BO long term, but
No.
is it short term?
No, so wait, the argument would be.
All right, fuck
it's like-
this then.
No.
The audience know what I'm on about here, and they actually want to hear about
I
this.
know
Would you
what
not
you
look
mean.
at the
I've seen
origin
it.
of the product? That would suggest that like if we stopped using it, we wouldn't smell like BO, but we do. So like that product was obviously invented to stop.
Yes,
people
and I'm not
from-
saying
so you're
that.
then saying
What
it's developed into.
I'm wondering if like as this thing that you need to use every day to stop you smelling or to keep you clean, it'd be very useful if we could also put something in that does something that we want to happen. I.e. sunscreen as well. There's a lots of like scientists that I've seen say don't use sunscreen. Like it causes cancer. Like it actually does the opposite. But like
it's not medical advice, by the way.
No, but as in, I've seen lots of people talking like this, and I just think like, obviously, I know you don't want to hear any conspiracies, but
I'm still going to wear sun cream.
Right then, so we've got emails. Conspiracies. Hello, Joe, Luke, and Mal, fuck me up the arse. Are there any conspiracy theories which any of you boys believe, which may have some weight behind them, but you are perhaps afraid to say because of the backlash that might come from your opinion? ArthurTV, going to throw this to you first. Sonny,
this is
Sonny little Jim.
You were just asking me. You were going like, talking about the floor.
Yeah, I was trying to get there.
I think you've got to attribute like the strength of your belief in anything to the strength of the evidence. And if someone says they're putting too much fluoride in our water and it's driving everyone crazy, like you shouldn't obviously just believe that. You should go and look at the literature and see what it says. Like people will be doing studies on what fluoride does to you, like what a healthy dose is, what, you know. And I think people who will read a tweet or a meme and go, oh, that could be true, and then just start believing it, that I do think is foolish. And I think there's a lot of that on the internet.
Oh, 1,000,000%. But is there anything like in particular that you believe that might be a conspiracy theory in the eyes of some people?
Because I always see you do like everything you read or hear or see, 5 minutes later, you're on ChatGPT learning about it.
9/11, flat Earth.
If I had a space podcast and thought the flat was out, I think we'd lose all of our subscribers. Not really that I can think of. Because I think like extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And if there was an extraordinary claim that had extraordinary evidence, it wouldn't be a conspiracy theory anymore. Do you know what I mean?
But there are certain things like, for example, 9/11.
You definitely believe that one.
No, as in like,
Inside
which could be...
What do you?
What is this? Is this not let anyone finish their sentence?
What the fuck are you going on about?
No, but is it like something like that where there's not necessarily all of the evidence to our disposal, but you can gauge based on what you can see, maybe. Or are you like, unless I've got concrete evidence, I'm not even going to go there as to potentially maybe giving it a chance that...
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be concrete. It just has to be strong enough for that. Maybe if you guys say one, it'll trigger me.
Do you believe in aliens?
No.
But surely, as a man of science, you are a man of science, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the probability of life being out there, and that's what an alien is, life. Extraterrestrial means life out of space, right? Surely, you, as a man of science, you think there should be something out there. Chances are. Yeah,
well, I mean, it depends on what you believe. Are you asking if I'm convinced, or do you think? I think it's likely.
If you believe, do you have beliefs?
No, so like, obviously you won't have concrete evidence, but as in, do you think? If I had to like put 100 grand on it, what are you putting it on, Shan?
Aliens, yeah.
I do believe.
No. Well, I mean,
you're gonna have to explain that one.
Arthur, do you have the ability to believe?
Do you believe?
See, here's a special one. All right.
Are you all?
There's only one thing that I know is true.
Yep.
In everything, and it's that I exist.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
No, you don't.
I do. I absolutely do.
Who's the philosopher? I think, therefore I am.
René Descartes. Yeah. Je pense donc je suis. It's how he first wrote it.
French man. Can happen,
anyway, but he said like the only thing you can know is that you exist, because like to ask the question and think about it means that there is some sort of conscious experience asking it. Like we could be brains in vats and not know that it's sat at the table. We could be in a coma and we could be in a simulation, and this could be the only thing you know is that you exist, and everything else you just it's a confidence level. And I think when you say like I know something, it's essentially just saying like I believe it to the extent that if I rejected it, it'd be absurd. It'd be absurd for me to not think that we're here. I don't know 100% because any of those other things could be true.
Yeah.
And so everything I believe is just a weighted thing between 0 and 100, and the only thing that's on 100 is going like I exist.
I love watching your face.
If you're in a simulation and you're not real, right? Say hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
No, say I created little Earth here. Okay, I look down, I can see little Arthur having his little thoughts about his little science or whatever. Okay, but I could just like turn you off.
Yeah. We could at any point.
Yeah, so therefore you might be that little Arthur right here.
I could be in a simulation.
Yeah, so therefore it's not 100%.
What's not 100%?
That you are now.
Now.
If I'm that little Arthur having those thoughts, the only thing I know is true is that I am a little Arthur having those thoughts. I'm that little Arthur having those little thoughts, even in a simulation, is still a conscious experience,
I've just turned you
experiencing
off.
stuff. Yeah, and then I would cease to be, but then I couldn't ask that question anymore. If you turn me off, I can't go, oh, the only thing I know is that I exist. I don't know if you're real.
You can only really know. You only know if you're real because like, you're experiencing it. You're like concrete. You may just be my perception.
Arthur doesn't know what you're thinking. He doesn't even know that you are thinking.
I could be a brain in a vat in the year 3000, and they've just run back a simulation, and their technology is just so insane that I'm utterly convinced of it. But I don't know you exist. I don't know you guys like. But obviously, like I would say, I know you guys exist because it would be absurd for me to not think that. I don't think with aliens, I've never seen aliens. I've not seen like strong enough evidence for me to go, I'm convinced of it. But I think, I mean, given how simple, how ubiquitous like the building blocks of life are throughout the universe, and how relatively simple it seems to be able to go from non-life to life, even though we don't know the exact pathway, like we think that it's probably, you know, going to be happening on lots of different other planets out there. I think it's probable that there's life out there.
Could you not argue like ChatGPT thinks it exists?
Maybe.
So therefore it exists.
Well, ChatGPT would.
Do you see what I'm saying?
ChatGPT would be sitting there going, "All I know is that I'm a thing having a conscious experience." So if ChatGPT,
the same as you.
Yeah, but I don't know that. I don't know if because I can't have ChatGPT's conscious experience. I don't know if ChatGPT's all ChatGPT could be sitting there.
But my experience is the same as your experience.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Same as ChatGPT's.
But I don't know you're having your experience.
I'm telling you.
I don't. It could be
that could be him.
Yeah, it could be
bollocks. This could be part of the simulation.
Utter waffle.
You could be part of the program simulation of going, oh, we're going to create a Theo Baker who's not actually a conscious experience, saying, oh, well, I feel the same way you do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How can I test that? And so like, that's the, livid. You should be like, that's exactly what I was saying about the strength of evidence should be.
Evidence is pretty high that we're all here.
Yeah. So my conviction that we're all here is pretty high.
So you do believe?
Yeah, probably 99.9999%, just not 100%. You know,
you bottled it. You 100% you believe it.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're struggling with this. It's almost accepted.
Do you not think human beings have a real issue with just like deeping everything too much?
Trying to figure things out?
Trying to figure out too much thing, instead of just accepting it.
With being conscious, being aware, like you think as a kid and you're not as aware of things, you kind of just go with the flow. The more aware and the more you realise, oh my God, there's this I can consider, or that all of a sudden you feel like, shit, I need to evaluate everything.
What do you think it would have been like living in like the 1600s where they thought
the
brain was the central to health? They didn't know gravity existed.
Well, yeah, so that's where it's like ignorance is bliss in ways. It's like we're not in caveman times. Obviously, you know, you wouldn't have been exposed to everything that we are exposed to now that makes our brain think, oh my God, this is important, that's important because I'm seeing it, it's real.
Yeah.
And really, like we're actually meant to be in small settlements of about 15 people just shagging our cousins.
Yeah, well, that's true though, isn't it? Because there's so much shit that we've made up. It's actually bollocks.
Yeah, innit? Do you know what? I was actually thinking about this today. There's a woman on like a call on the tube. No, it doesn't.
You were listening to someone's conversation.
Oh, she was like right next to me.
Go on.
Here. And she was talking about like some like important email that like had to be done, and like she was talking about, and I was just thinking like that is actually so made up and just not important. But like it is in her world, and like it would be in my world if I was her.
Who are you, and how are you to be the one that decides if it's important or not? Because she could be talking about an email that's going to stop a nuclear bomb going off.
But my point is like we've made it important. Humans have made shit like that important. I'm saying like in like the grand scheme of like the world and the universe, that is not important, but it is.
But coming here, you have to fully immerse yourself in the experience in order to fulfill what you've come here to fulfill. So that her thinking that that's really important, she like in order to be totally immersed into that, no, she needs to be totally immersed into that, what she believes she needs to do. Or else if she's living thinking, this ain't important, oh, that ain't important, oh, nothing's actually important, boom, you're depressed.
Yeah.
And that is,
it's not
you know what
nothing,
I mean?
It's like looking at what is actually truly important.
Yeah, but what is actually truly important?
I don't know, but I'm like, is sending an email and like,
but to her,
ensuring that this presentation is perfect in this boardroom, is that like truly? Because I thought about this the other day. Like, have we just come to Earth at like the worst time ever?
I
don't know, but like
that's the thing. Is it the best time ever, or is it the worst time ever? Like, was life better 2,000 years ago?
Well, I think there was a lot of murder and a lot of just, you know, off with your head if you're chatting shit about me sort of thing. But as my great friend Stephen Bartlett says, you must sweat the 1% things.
What does that even mean?
It means the small details that you may think, oh, we're deeping everything too much. But is the CO2 levels in your podcast room really important to make sure that the brain is optimally functioning for great conversation?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What are our thoughts on neurodivergence?
What is that?
What the hell is that?
Well, as in, like, you have things like autism, ADHD, like different things that maybe are perceived as like, oh, disability, but actually, are they beneficial in certain areas? What do you think about this, Arthur?
And also, have they always
I
existed?
think it's interesting, yeah. I mean, I would imagine almost certainly.
Do you think anyone on this table is neurodivergent?
Come on.
Why are you looking at me?
I mean, I'm not qualified to say, but I think it may be possible. So I get a lot of people in my comment section suggesting that I might be autistic.
Have you ever had any sort of testing or whatever?
Nope.
Oh,
how about you?
Yeah, well, I did this very in-depth, detailed quiz online. One Christmas day, actually. To be like, I'll have a little look at this. And yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest one was ADHD, which obviously a lot of creatives and people doing, crazy things have. And I'm like, oh, in certain aspects, it's very unhelpful, trying to sleep at night, etc. But it's very useful for coming up with pioneering ideas that most people couldn't even think of. And I'm like, yeah, like obviously autism being another thing, like what? Like Lionel Messi being autistic and so incredibly laser focused and able to deliver what he does. I'm like, often the highest performers have something.
I definitely feel like autism gets thrown around way too commonly on YouTube, especially.
Really? What is that? Your comment section?
No,
I know what you mean.
But it's thrown like Arthur.
Someone's a bit quirky.
For example, Arthur, right?
Yeah.
Like you get labelled as autistic all the time.
Yeah, I do.
All the stuff. And other people as well. But like,
that's a really weird reaction to me agreeing with you. look like me agreeing with you pissed off.
But like, I feel like it gets thrown around and it's just like, it's probably not. Like, they might just be a bit like quirky.
Yeah, but I think that's also the same with ADHD as well now. I think that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot
you can always tell
I think a lot of it is self-induced by the way we live our lives now.
Yes and no, but then I feel like you can always tell, like I've experienced people with ADHD and I can always tell, and they've always been like that since birth, essentially.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people are now like, oh, because my ADHD, and it's like,
no, but a lot of people
you just spend too much time on your phone.
No, but a lot of people don't realise they have ADHD. That's the issue. A lot of people have no idea they have ADHD. A lot of people think that
a lot more people do actually have it nowadays.
No, I know, but I'm saying a lot of people don't think they didn't realise they have it because they always thought that having a million thoughts in their head all at once was just like standard for everyone. Do you see what I'm saying?
You've got like the opposite of ADHD, haven't you?
I do, yes. But again, that can be a bit difficult in sometimes.
Right, let's do a little email. What do we reckon about this then, wanksters? Hello, Theo, Joe and Emmanuel. I'm 21 years old and have zero sex drive.
Didn't you used to do a thing?
What?
I'm a wankster.
What?
I'm a motherfucking wankster.
Yeah, I made a song called I'm a Wankster.
Where is that?
Harley made me take it down.
Oh, was it with Harley that you did it?
Yeah.
Oh. That was a good song. Yeah, you did.
Banger.
Yeah, you got in trouble with the school, didn't you, about that?
Yeah, I'm a wankster. What? I'm a gangster wannabe. I don't, man, when the scene, I just roll with it. If you see me in the street and the people they see, yeah, something like that. Anyways, I'm 21 years old and have zero sex drive whatsoever. Even when engaging in sexual activities, be it wanking or sex, I don't feel any drive to partake. I just do it for the sake of doing it. No word of a lie. The first and only time I can recall feeling any horniness was when I was 15 doing my GCSEs maths review. Right, sorry H, this one's got to be a load of bollocks. I've tried many different strategies such as cutting out all porn and masturbating for over 60 days, along with various supplements like ashwagandha, and there is still no difference. I've also had my blood work done, and it shows my testosterone is at a normal level. This is sounding like actual facts now, to be fair. Yeah. My girlfriend has no idea about this, because I feel like if I tell her, she will think it's her fault. Also, it's probably worth noting that everything works. It's purely the feeling and the drive to do it that is missing. Please help, boys. A brother is in dying need.
It's almost like he's just doing everything for the sake of it because he thinks he has to, but he has no drive there. But what's interesting is that his test levels are normal.
What do you reckon he should do, Arthur?
Why is that funny?
I think he needs to just accept the fact that he's probably asexual and that...
Do you reckon that's a thing?
What is asexual?
It's when you just, I think it's just essentially when you don't have a particular sex drive. You have no.
It's asexual is like no sex drive.
Yeah.
Is it like you don't want to shag, but obviously things work. So he's getting hard rod on.
Biologically, it's working, but he has no internal drive. Unless
he does want it then. Surely.
I'm going to throw a little curve.
So I'll throw the curveball.
The curveball here, right?
What?
It's worked one time in his life.
Doing maths.
Yeah.
My maths. He wants to shag calculators.
No. He should try,
getting it up.
Role play as like a maths teacher.
It's like a protractor.
He should ask the girlfriend, maybe you should dress up as a protractor or like a maths teacher or something. I'm just saying, he's obviously at his wit's end right now. So I'm here trying to help write a scenario.
But when he was doing the maths revision and got turned on, is it because his mind started wandering elsewhere, or was it actually the math?
We don't know that, but that's what I'm saying. Why not give that a try?
Yeah, I'd say try a bunch of things, but I feel like if this is just an asexual person and you give them a bunch of different things to try, they're almost going to be like, oh my God, this could be my last shot. Like I've thought of everything. I've turned to fucking waffling for advice on how to
Wait, what do you mean? I don't get what you mean by that.
What do you mean by that?
I'm only joking. But you know what I mean? He's just sort of going like, God, I'm at my bloody wit's end. And maybe like giving all these like different things to try might be putting so much pressure on him. He could just be asexual. I mean, humans are complicated creatures.
Very true.
Some people just don't have sex drives. And I would say, if you're that person, maybe just read more about asexuality and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Speak to your girlfriend about it.
I agree as well. And also you could try taking more tests. Like genuinely, even if your testosterone levels are normal, for you, the normal level compared to like the world, say it's normal, but your body actually might need more testosterone.
Yeah, maybe speak to a health professional about it. See if they,
don't listen to me.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's no way if he tells his girlfriend like, I'm asexual, and she's not going to think it's her fault. She's instantly going to be like, well, he's not.
It's going to be a difficult conversation. That's why I said maybe, speak to your doctor and your health professional and see if he suggests taking an increase in testosterone.
Isn't it crazy that people do actually turn to us in like times of need?
But he might not have thought that answer because he says he's got normal test levels. Then he wouldn't think of, maybe I should increase them. You see what I'm saying? Like, some people may need more than others.
We get you, Malfoy.
I can also like fuck you up big time, surely.
Well, obviously I'm not a health professional, so don't listen to my advice. Speak to a doctor.
Wait, what's this? If you had to make your own religion, which parts of other cultures would you incorporate? Who would be your leader? Where would be your place of worship? Go on, ArthurTV.
I've thought about this actually.
Yeah?
Because I think quite a lot of people, when they leave religion, do have this sense of they miss a lot of things. I mean, I think there are quite a lot of people that stick with religion because they love the community and stuff. And I think when you leave it, it's quite hard to fulfill that sense of community. Mm-hmm. And I think almost like there almost should be something like a culture, like some sort of society of atheists that like give you a lot of these things, like beautiful art, beautiful music, a sense of culture, a sense of belonging, where you can turn up maybe once a week if you're a little old lady granny, and once a week you meet up in your community. But rather than someone going, oh, this God said this once, they stand up and go, oh, today we're going to speak about meditation and how important that is and like the things it can do for you. Or
people do that. Yeah,
that does exist.
Yeah, that does exist
already. Like there are like, the British Legion.
wait, is that a pub? Wait, what?
That's for like veterans. Yeah.
What? There's a place for like middle-aged women to go.
The women's
women's society. Yeah, like there are places for that to happen. And there's community centres.
Yeah. There are, yeah.
There's community centres, but maybe not for everyone.
This is saying that just like religion is just basically just gives you mates and that's all it's good for.
Could you argue?
It's just having a sense of community. Where did God come from then? Like, where do you think?
Bible, wasn't it?
Do you think it's just like one day someone was like, do you think it is just like, let's control everyone? Chuck this in the mix.
I think there's a mix. There's a really interesting book called Sapiens that goes through a lot of it. And like, it is a great way of bringing people together, uniting them under a common goal. Yep. A lot of people do behave better under religion because, if you're in quite barbaric times and you've got someone saying, oh, by the way, if you're nice to people and don't kill people and don't steal, you'll end up in this eternal paradise of happiness and pleasure. Like, of course it is a great thing. We've evolved to be pattern-seeking communal animals as well. So we see things like beauty in nature and we go, damn, something must have caused that. Well, you see something like intelligent, like DNA, and you go, oh, that's kind of like computer code. Maybe an intelligent mind must have designed it. And I think we sort of like seek these patterns naturally. But obviously, like back in the day, I mean, obviously, like pre-evolution, people used to look at the human eye and just go, how could that ever come about by random mutation?
And stars.
You look at the human eye and how incredibly detailed and complex it is, and go like, where the hell could that have come from? Now, obviously, we know.
Sorry.
No, it's the same kind of thing.
It's true.
But like now,
it's true.
Now we have
true.
It's true. It is true. It is true.
I was going to try to sound smart.
Can I ask you a question?
No, but
carry on. Yeah.
Finish that. Like it's and before that, like now we have a perfect explanation. Like we know exactly how a rudimentary eye could come about. We know each individual step, from it going from a flat sheet to a disc to adding a lens to a pinhole, like all this kind of stuff where step by step it can get better, and we know how this like hand that guides it is natural selection. Obviously, the person with slightly better eyesight lives longer than the person with worse eyesight. So like we know how that could come about. I think back in times when we didn't have explanations for a lot of these things, but you have 9 kids, 5 of them die. It's quite a nice thing to go, actually, maybe there's a reason for it, and maybe they're in heaven, and maybe it's a bit of terror management theory. Like there are a lot of reasons that like religion is beneficial, even if it's not necessarily true.
Roman times.
Yeah.
What religion were Romans? Because you know how they believed in like Greek gods. So like Thor was god of thunder.
They're very different times.
No, I know. But if I was going to be religious, right, back in there, no, seriously, think about it, right? If you none of this exists, right? This earth doesn't exist. You're living in Roman times. If you looked up at the fucking, hear me out. It's a really
back in there.
really valid point. If you looked at the sky, right, and it started lightning and thunder, you think, what the hell is doing that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. If you think a tsunami is coming towards you, you think, well, God of the sea, Poseidon's pissed off. What religion is that?
What religion?
But you're talking about like ancient Greece.
Yeah, what religion is that? They just believed in many gods and that was it.
Was it Greek mythology?
Well, there were a bunch of different, like there were absolutely loads of religions at the time.
Yeah, no, but that's like why Poseidon?
You had Emperor. What's Poseidon?
What was that? Was that just mythology?
Well, no, they believed that they were gods. Polytheism kind of.
So it wasn't a religion. It was just fact. God. Is that how it was?
Yeah, a lot of people used to think there was like a god of the sea, a god of fire, a god of love, a god of wine, a god of war.
But the original question was, where did religion come from, right? If you were a caveman, if you looked up at the sky and saw lightning, you'd think, you have no idea what the hell that is. Something's caused it. What do we know that's caused it? Oh, well, it must be like someone else doing it, because you don't know anything else that exists.
Well, you must have heard the term God of the Gaps, right?
No?
You heard the term God of the Gaps?
What's that mean?
It's essentially going like, I don't know, therefore God. And we've done it all along, and it's exactly like you say, like the design in nature. Some people look at the universe and go, I don't know what started, I don't know where it's come from, therefore God did it. Or, like exactly like you said, like back in the day, people used to go, thunder, lightning. I mean, even now, like we just had the LA fires. The number of people that go, oh, that's because of homosexuality or that kind of thing, and just go,
aren't they just stupid though?
This is a punishment.
But how can you blame the fires on being gay?
Well, I mean, how many times did the Bible, in the Bible, did the God of the Bible punish people? I mean,
wait, what? I'm so confused how this is.
Well, so it's to punish people essentially.
But that happens all the time,
though, isn't there?
I mean, you have tsunamis and earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff. And even now, even though we understand the science behind it, you still say that's God punishing us for whatever we're doing, like for immorality.
I think a lot of those people even know the science behind it, but it would be the fact that like that science exists because of God still.
Or they can use something to justify their hatred. Be like, oh yeah, see, God's punishing this thing that I don't like. Boom. Another thing, spirits.
Oh, this one.
Pardon?
Do you believe in spirits, ghosts?
Oh, spirit.
Spirits.
Spirits.
So what the hell is a spirit?
Spirit.
That sounds so different.
Also, no. I've seen no evidence for it.
But what about,
Sufficient
what
evidence.
about like a teddy bear that makes a noise?
Oh no, I believe in teddy bears.
And obviously, you know what? If you walk into Toys R Us and you can buy one of those Ouija boards, what about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen sufficient evidence to
Do
believe.
you think when we die?
It's really boring.
Wait, do you think when we die and that's it?
Again, no. See, I think that's the attribute to like I'm convinced of it. I don't know.
Because if energy can't be created nor destroyed, where does our consciousness, where does our energy, this thing that you know is 100% real, what happens?
Well, I've got like gravitational potential energy, like chemical kinetic energy, like all that kind of energy, but we know where that goes, right? Like,
And your brain's electric.
when you die, you can burn yourself and the energy goes off there. I don't think there's ever been like
Maybe your consciousness.
I don't think there's ever been like a measurement of a human and then they've died and then they've gone, oh, by the way, when you die, you lose X amount of energy and it's just nowhere to be found. It's not, I think that would be a compelling, where does this go? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we talk about in terms of like consciousness or the soul, I think that's all just energy we're aware of and that, you know, converts itself to other forms of energy, you know,
Right,
warmth from our bodies goes out to, but again, I don't know what happens. Like, as far as I'm aware, no one's ever died and not come back and been able to
there's been people that have died for an amount of time and then come back and
died and
said,
come back,
yeah, and said like, oh, I saw this person, this old relative, I was welcome into this and saw this amazing garden of blah blah blah.
Yeah, but you could also go to sleep and dream that.
Yeah, but as in if their body factually, chemically, officially is dead, and then they come back.
There was a experiment recently.
They wouldn't be
what
dead,
you're talking about.
They are dead.
No, but they wouldn't be dead.
No, they are dead.
They're
Stops,
not,
mate.
Yeah, but like there's like a certain period of time at which like the brain activity wouldn't be dead. Like if all brain activity stops, then you're not coming back.
Yeah.
Well, so there was an experiment recently. It's a bit of a dodgy experiment. I'd say less of experiment, more of just like science looking to future itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Where this lady was dying, and they just like hooked her up to monitor her brain. And
surely they tried to help her instead.
When she died, no, she was dying. There was nothing. There's nothing.
They're like, oh, let's just use her for an experiment.
I'm paraphrasing here. Okay, so there obviously is an answer to that. I don't know it. I didn't read into it. Anyways, so when she's dead, there's like 2 minutes of like brain or 8 minutes or so whatever, a certain amount of minutes of brain activity. And you know how people say, "Oh, my life flashed before my eyes."
Yeah, lad.
People say that is that.
We have a little quick dream while your brain's still active.
Yeah. And you see it all goes.
But there's still no proof of
maybe.
Well, they scientifically measured it as brain activity. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but it wasn't proof that it was like that was her like seeing her whole life flash before her eyes.
I mean, what do you believe? Do you believe in an afterlife?
I believe we go on to the next thing,
next level,
and
whatever that is.
And why?
Why?
Why do you believe that? Yeah.
Because I feel like it's an interesting question, really. I feel like I've done this before. I feel like I've done things before. That was like the first. What are you laughing at? No, I feel like, and then
no, I don't want to laugh, but I was just thinking about a memory.
What?
When you fought in World War I.
Wait, that's actually a question. You ever done psychedelics?
No, I would like to.
Would you?
I've said on the podcast, I would love to do one in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Because I've heard horror stories of like people,
That sounds worse.
Why would you do it in a... No, you wouldn't need
just
to do
so
that.
I know I can't harm myself.
No, you wouldn't do that. You're very much conscious, very much just here.
We're just mushrooms.
No, because I mean, there have been like famous...
Oh, it's a load of... Oh, come on, mate.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm not going to fly in a plane because there's been a plane crash.
Yeah, that is
like, it's very rare.
Really good comparison.
No, it actually is.
No, but I think...
You can have a bad trip, but I genuinely believe what comes up during like the psychedelic experience is like stuff that you're probably either suppressing or that you need to be aware of, and it's either scaring you or something that you definitely don't want to accept, but it's reality.
You build up to it though.
Yeah, I would back that point to an extent where I would say the closest I've ever felt to maybe there is something is when I've taken psychedelics. And like, it's not even that I've necessarily seen anything. It's like a genuine feeling of like there's got to be more. And like, you do start thinking differently. Because I'm always someone that has been, no, like I don't believe in any, I purely believe in the science and everything we see. When we die, we die. Don't know what happens. Don't really care because I'm not going to be it. But that did get me thinking of like, it makes your brain think in a different way.
Yeah, because I don't know if you like saw when I mentioned it on the Fellas podcast, but
I had him to open up.
No, so I did mushrooms in Thailand, and me and this geezer that I'd met in the Philippines like a month before, we felt like we knew each other. Anyways, we do this mushroom trip. We get on really, really well leading up to this mushroom trip, and we are communicating like telepathically during the trip, but we're not talking. But we were somewhere else. We weren't on Earth. We left our bodies, and we were talking, and we were shown previous lives. Right. And fucking showing how we'd actually met in previous occasions in our entire existence.
Yeah.
Right. You may think this sounds like a load of bollocks. But it was like we were talking the whole fucking time and being shown all of this shit. And it was like, and then when we were shown like this fucking bright white light of like consciousness where we're all from. And then we came back to Earth and it was just like floods of tears. We landed and we were already in floods of tears. And we just recited the whole thing to each other. And I'm like, what the fuck can cause that? Like,
true.
How are you talking the old time? How are you like and seeing the same thing and being shown the exact same thing, and we're there. We literally were there
on the talking
somewhere else.
Is there like any possibility that you were just literally monging on the side, like talking to each other?
No.
Well, there is a possibility though.
No, because what was being said was we weren't talking.
No, but what we're
it was
saying
literally like
what you're saysaying.
No, but it's literally like
you don't know that.
You're conscious, mate. When you're doing mushrooms, you're conscious. You're like, it's not like, do you know what I mean? It's not that. And it was like, it was fun. That's the thing. Unless you were there, this is why it's so difficult to try and communicate it, because it's like, unless you were there experiencing it, you just be like, oh, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. I understand. It's like, it's very much human nature to go, how can I put this into terms that I can understand? And if I can't understand it, then it's like a bollocks.
You're saying you're not talking. You can't prove you weren't talking.
Okay, well, I can't get a video
you were talking. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example,
so that's where there's a grey area too. But I like, you know if you're not talking.
Yeah, but to counter your argument, it may sound silly, but it does counter the argument very well. Okay, you can reply to someone and you don't remember you replied to someone. You can say something on a night out. You wake up the next day.
But over the space of 2 hours, and it's both people, and we're both just like.
Yeah, no, that is.
It's like we'd go, oh, yeah, we probably spoke at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd probably go, oh, yeah, we were here. Like, we physically we weren't on Earth. And it's meant to, and I'm like, I know it sounds like bollocks, but I'm like.
Physically you were on Earth, but subconsciously you weren't on Earth.
If you think that could be true, it'd be really interesting to go like, put you in 2 separate rooms. Yeah. Get him to do a random number generator on like 1,000 different numbers. Get one, and he goes, right, when we both trip and we communicate, yeah. I'm going to tell you the number when you wake up. Yeah. Then if you can say it, then you're really...
Have you ever thought about doing that?
That would be incredible. I actually saw that they did a test where 2 people were dreaming and they successfully had them communicate in their dreams.
Oh, that's weird.
In recent time. You Google that one. That actually happened recently. No, it actually did. That was... I can't tell you. You can read it. They did it, and people actually communicated in their dreams. And that's a whole other concept. Like, what happens when we go in our dreams? Where do we go? What is that? Is it just thoughts?
Well, yeah.
Is it?
I really love the most difficult things in science that like the top people don't understand. You're just like, yeah, of course, that's what I know exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about earlier. You know how humans deep everything.
No, but do you think there's also this thing as like people take safety in like if I know that this answer, like Theo said, yep, no, that 100% happens, because then I can have confidence and comfort in knowing that is, I know that, I'm aware of what that answer is. So therefore I feel more at ease. Whereas if you question things and things aren't certain, it can give you a bit of worry. So that's why it's easier to go, oh, the science can't prove that, so therefore that can't be real. Or, do you know what I mean?
I have no worries about believing or not believing.
No, but it sounds like it's keeping you up at night.
I think it goes exactly both ways. Because like you could equally have the same thing where you go like, oh, I've grown up being told that there's life after death and I'm going to be in paradise. And then you go like, oh, I can't prove it. And like, rather than asking the questions and like evaluating, it's much better to be like, it might be a lot easier for some people to be like, I'm just going to be calm and just like not really think about it too much, and just it's much easier for me to live in this comforting world where I go, yeah, that's just what I accept. Yeah. Kind of goes both ways.
No, definitely. I definitely think you're right in terms of like people do deep things too much and try and figure stuff out. Like we're not here to have it all figured out.
No, we're not.
We're actually not.
You're here to ride the wave, not be the wave.
Yeah, exactly. Mouth flippy.
I don't know.
You're so simple.
No, but I think there probably is one. I'm not sure if
what is it?
We're meant to know what it is. Well, I think everyone's got their own meaning to life.
What's yours?
I just want to live a nice, long, happy life. Like, I feel like everyone's got it within their own ability and power to make their life what they want it to be. To some extent, it's not like if you want $1 million, go out there and get it. But like, you can be happy.
I think it is cool having that sort of like freedom to be like, what is actually really important to me in my life, and for everyone it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like some people might want a really like a career that people look at and really respect. Some people want a lot of money. Some people want to give a lot to their community. Some people want like, it's kind of cool that we can all kind of like do our own thing and like find our own happiness. And it's kind of cool how much difference there is in what makes people happy and finds them, like gives them purpose. Because I think it makes conversations like this so much more interesting. Because if we all just sat here like, oh, we all kind of want the exact same thing, we all want this job, or it's kind of interesting that we can kind of constantly, every time we meet someone new, go like, oh, what matters to you? And they could say something you never really thought of before, you know?
See, I think I cracked it.
Oh, fucking
I think it's just as simple as
That's hard to follow, by the way.
the meaning of life is to have your own purpose. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Look at him like he's a stupid one.
No, what I said there. But fucking hell, if Gandhi said that, you'll be like, oh, it's genius.
But do you understand?
No, it's true. The meaning of life is to have your own purpose.
It's ikigai.
It's to find what?
Where is that Japanese concept?
Ikigai.
Ikigai. Ikigai. Ilkigai. Please can you Google it, H? Because it is something. It's having that purpose. It's like your purpose plus like your mission plus your this. Plus,
Ikigai.
No, wait, yeah. The secret to a long and happy life. Let's
find your purpose.
Meaning, right? Let's read that. Ready? What does it mean? A reason for. It's a Japanese term that blends two words: iki, meaning to live, and gay, meaning meaning reason, which translates to a reason to live. It's a concept that encourages people to discover what truly matters to them and to live a life filled with purpose and joy.
See how funny?
There you go, ikigai.
I explained that concept. You laughed at me.
Did you?
No, I
You
kind
did,
of agree
Theo.
with you,
Yeah, exactly. Look
This
at
has
your
happened
hat.
throughout my life. They don't take it seriously. I say stuff which matters. I matter.
Look, you say it with great comedic effect, and it sounds like a piss take.
Mate, scroll up. What's his name called?
His name, it's a concept, not his.
Well, some bloke created it, didn't he?
No, it's Japanese.
Some bloke
Who wrote
probably
the book?
did.
Someone wrote the book.
It's Japanese.
Yeah, Francis.
What?
He doesn't sound Japanese.
Hasegawa.
Oh, Hasegawa. Yeah, Francis.
the Heian period. Okay, yeah, it's very old. It's kind of cool that, I mean, that's a little bit later than the Greeks had it, but like West and Eastern philosophy so often lines up because humans are kind of similar.
They'd
in the
actually
same
solved pretty much everything back in the day.
Back in the day.
way. Yeah, the Greeks got a lot right. They got a lot wrong, but they also got a lot right. Yeah, they did.
And if you look in the
What did they get right?
loads of things.
Go on, give me top three things the Greeks got right.
Months.
The Olympics.
That's the not just any Olympics, though, are they? What they called? The old ones, the old Olympics. It's not the modern Olympics, were they? You had to run to marathon. That's where the marathon came from. You have to run to marathon. Anyways, top three things Greek got right. The calendar. Sunrise and sunset. Poseidon.
No, fair enough. That's a good list.
What's Poseidon?
Poseidon.
What's that?
The god of water.
the sea.
The sea.
Do you have any like diverging
Does actually.
ethnicity? Let me guess. Are you a bit Italian? Batch.
No, actually.
Can I have a guess?
Go on.
Well, you know a lot of mine.
Chinese.
No.
Oh.
Iraqi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
I honestly, I need to get the full story because I asked my great aunt about this. I need to do a DNA test. My grandma and great aunt's father was in Iraq and had sort of like the Iraqi passport and stuff, and she was telling me about it. But I don't know where his parents were from. I've got Maltese in me, which is why I've got quite dark skin.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been to Malta.
Really? Okay. I've got a small amount of Saracen, which is like North African. Is there any spice in any of you guys ethnically?
Yeah. So, man, brother.
I need to do a test.
I did a test.
I want to do one.
15% Spanish.
Ooh.
Mediterranean. No. What
You're 15%.
Iberian. So that can be Spanish, Portuguese, North African.
Yeah. Plane company got their name from.
Yeah. Iberian. 3% Finland.
Ooh.
So I'm a little Viking.
Okay.
Hence the beard. And the rest English, but mostly northwestern. So I'm pretty good at Skoskies. That's fucking
But you're
Scottish.
15. That's quite a big number.
Iberian. That's why I got the big lips.
Is that why you started learning Spanish?
Sí, por supuesto, pero nunca he viajado a España.
Sí.
enough.
That's fabulous.
Do you speak any other languages?
I understood that. You never travelled to Spain before?
You've been learning Mandarin, ain't you?
No.
Well, you said you've been learning language.
Well, Spanish. I'm a big Spanish and Duolingo enjoyer.
Or English.
Muy bien.
I can read a lot of the Arabic letters now.
Arabic, that's what it was.
Can you speak any?
Not really.
Oh.
The annoying thing about Duolingo is it teaches you stupid things. Like
My girlfriend is learning Duolingo at the moment, and it's like, what did you plant the book in the water or something?
Yeah.
What do you say?
So you said she's learning Duolingo, but like what?
App developer, mate.
Spanish
Yeah, but what is she? Okay.
or English?
All English. Could she not already speak it?
You're out of the loop. You don't get it. It was a meme back in the day.
Did anyone else?
You must get it, right?
What?
Spanish or English?
Spanish.
You must have heard that one.
I don't know what you're
Do you
saying.
speak Spanish or English?
Spanish.
What am I saying? Spanish or English?
You said Spanish. You were saying a minute ago. But it's okay.
I wasn't.
You did it.
I'm trying to even think why. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something non-weird that I know how to say.
No, we're not bullies. We're actually nice.
What the fuck are you laughing at? See what I got to deal with?
Oh, you know what? I think this is probably going to be really wrong.
Sandosh
laugh.
Bat,
But I can say enemy ninjiltra, which is roughly, I'm from England. Ua NFI El Bait Theo Baker.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
I'm in
there we
Theo
go.
Baker's house.
Way.
Okay.
Sick.
Bait Mumtaz, I think, is an amazing house or something. Is that right? Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
But it does teach you just random shit.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I know, like, probably because they're very close to English, but like jacket, like jacketek, like your jacket. So I can be like your jacket, or like garajek is like your garage is amazing. But it hasn't taught me yes or no yet. And
So,
You can say your jacket is amazing, but yes or no.
why do you want to learn Arabic?
it was when I went to uni for the first time in London. Two of my friends were Jordanian, and they would speak Arabic all the time. I was like, this is quite cool. That was when I first started like finding Islam really interesting. And I was like, oh, I'd quite like to just learn this. And I also lived in North London in a place there were a lot of Tunisians.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to say, thank you, shukran, after my
Shukran.
haircut.
I remember
And I
that.
said it. They were
Shukran.
so happy.
That was in
really cool.
Saudi Arabia. We were saying that a lot.
Yeah.
Shukran.
Have you ever seen that guy on YouTube who can speak like every language in the world?
Yeah.
And he goes into like restaurants and stuff, or like a barber's, and like they'll be like chatting shit about people and him, and he'll just start speaking in their language. Like, what do you say?
Is it Xiaoma NYC?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's class.
I'd love to have that talent. If I have one special power, it'd be to speak every language in the world.
That would be cool, being a polyglot.
What?
That's what they're called, polyglots.
Polyglot.
People that speak multiple languages, yeah.
What would be one? That's a good one. What superpower would you choose to have, everyone, if you could pick one? No, because I had a really dodgy one growing up. I don't think I should say it.
No.
But anyways, we'll do you lot first.
Any room I walk in, all knickers drop to the floor. I fucking got it first time.
No, you didn't.
What was it then?
What was your one again?
Speak every language on earth.
No, when I was younger.
Including the-
This is not me now. For the record, this is not me now. This was when I was young boy.
It must come from
TikTok-
Maybe about
out.
10 years old.
Where's this going?
I used to wish, I could, nah, I can't say that.
You can.
I used to wish that I could just see through everyone's clothes.
I think a lot of people did that.
That's
though.
not the craziest-
That's not
for
the
like
craziest
a-
one, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The fact that
Okay.
you
Like
still
when
want
you're a
one-
kid.
and you definitely don't want that now.
No. I would hate that right now because I could just see
You
your.
see our knobs.
I could just see your
Yeah.
tiny little
what,
knobs.
what if you could choose? You'd turn it on, turn it off.
Now fuck that shit, mate. I'm loyal.
Getting very defensive.
I don't. What? I'd hate that shit.
What, every
bro.
time you
You'd
saw
hate it, would you?
every time you'd see your mum.
No,
you-
fuck that. No, wait, what are you thinking about?
What?
No, you want to see your?
you can't turn it off.
You wanna see your
He's
mum.
got the choice. He can turn it on or off. Like he can either see through our clothes or not see through them. You just wouldn't turn it on or off.
Have you ever seen the film What Women Want?
That's so weird because I was going to bring that up when he was talking about it. It's
Wait. What?
It's
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson gets electrocuted in the bath, and he wakes up and he can hear all women's thoughts.
Or mad ting. Would you want that?
I would not.
I reckon what people put forward is very different to what's going on in here. And especially like an ADHD brain would be like, you wouldn't want to listen to that
he
shit.
said it was too much.
Yeah.
He's acting.
Because like, there's a lot of scenes where he's like, oh, I didn't want to hear that, didn't want to know that. Like, he's like...
But it did help him in bed.
Yeah, but he's getting it. There's one scene where he's like, he's taking his daughter to get like a prom dress, and she's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my virginity in this. And he's like, oh no. She's like, what, Dad? She hasn't said anything. He's like trying not to react. Now he's like a bit of a misogynist at work, and he'll rock up and like people that he thought liked him would be like, this guy's such a dick. And he's like, oh, this is a bit shit. But then he starts using it, because he's like, he hears a girl going like, oh, I wish he'd go down on me for a bit longer. And he does. And
becomes the sex guru.
Was that the sort of thing that you'd want? Is that the sort of superpower you would choose?
Mine would be to be able to shapeshift.
So you'd like to be like this plant over here for a minute?
I'd go for something a bit more like, I'd like turn into a bald eagle and fly some days. I'd turn into like a whale, a killer whale, and like swim through the ocean at times.
It'd be quite scary though.
You'd never age because you could be like, oh, well, I'll always be my 25-year-old self or whatever. You could become you could turn into Obama and like, I don't know, get loads of free stuff probably. Like there's loads of stuff you could do from it.
So you'd become Obama
just to get free stuff?
Get free shit.
You're already a YouTuber.
You get free shit all the time.
Yeah, I know, but Obama will get cooler stuff.
But wouldn't you rather become Obama and like becoming the president again?
We can't.
No,
because he did 2 terms.
8 years.
Well, that is actually a cool one. What would you do, Luke?
Time travel.
Time travel? Why?
Forward and back.
Surely then that's just never been in the present moment. You'll get lost in back forward.
Lost in music?
Where would you go back to?
Oh,
you got to go back in like caveman time.
Well, the thing is firstly, I'd really like, this is going to be so boring, but I'd love to go back to World War II.
What? I could tell you something or two about that.
World War One, mate.
This is a horrible time.
I just want to experience what like living in London was like during World War II.
I just want to experience.
Well, like the sense of community and
weirdo.
Mate, I think it would be sick.
Oh yeah,
like, the
really
blitz
sick
and everything.
Think about what you're saying here, pal.
Yeah,
I think it's really sick to get bombed and get terrified inside the shelters.
No, but then I would also go back
open your eyes.
Go back to like the Mayans. I think that'd be pretty cool, where they used to throw people off the pyramids and stuff.
What is wrong with you? Are you a dark mother?
No, but I'd make sure that I was one of them, not like one of the villagers that they used to round up.
Who built the pyramids, ArthurTV?
Oh,
or Mr.
One
Beast.
of those aliens.
Mr. Beast. No, he proved, didn't he, that it weren't aliens.
How?
We proved it.
How?
I feel.
Spoke to the guy who's in charge of the pyramids.
Selling the tickets on the door.
It would be cool. You could go back through all of the. You could even go back and like see every prophet and be like, "Wow, I've actually seen them do that miracle.
Yeah.
This is true."
That time travel would be the best superpower.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you.
You could answer most of the most important questions.
No, but Arthur,
You could even just do little things and just be like, "Oh, you know what? I really want to find out what happened to Madeleine McCann and like solve things like that."
Or the lottery.
You could go back there and just
that's
hang
the
outside.
ultimate detective,
Lottery.
basically.
Yeah.
But guys,
Go and
you're
solve every
thinking-
crime.
I wouldn't use
Would you get involved?
though.
Like, would you stop things?
No.
What?
No. So you let him.
Butterfly
let them take her.
effect.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let Weller versus Malfoy happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think though? This is actually one of the worst powers.
Why?
Let me explain.
Here he goes.
I'd
You
probably
go
kill
back-
baby Hitler thinking about it.
No, but that would change the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't have Thea Baker
Would
here
you?
in
Would
that
you?
case.
Would you go back in time? Yeah, but in this scenario, your phone don't work. Okay, you can't take photos. The technology doesn't work. For some reason, it doesn't work in like 200 AD.
What if I took like a...
No, just listen to him.
But when you come back and say, "Oh, guys, I've found out who built the pyramids." Yeah, if I told you this, I've time traveled. You'd be like, "You're mental."
Yeah, but that's what you do
No one
whenever
will
I tell
believe
you
you.
anything.
But you haven't time traveled.
Maybe.
Well, that's my point, right?
Exactly.
So if you could time travel, you can't prove it.
Yeah, but it's not... I don't care about people believing
No, but
me.
how frustrating. Like, guys, seriously, it was aliens. Seriously.
Well, yeah, but firstly, I'd be
You'd
like...
lose your mind.
Yeah, but people would be like, well, you can't time travel. And I'd be like, watch this.
Well,
and
you have the
then
likes
just
of
disappear.
Bob Lazar, who obviously works in Area 51, who's literally
What, did he?
says about his alien experiences and what he's seen. And everyone's like, "You're a load of bollocks, mate."
Could you plant
It's like the reptilian people, right?
What?
You know, certain theorists
right,
say that swear that they can prove things, but if other people haven't seen it, then they're like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
You know what? That really reminded me of you two doing that. A quote that goes as follows: "Some people climb mountains to see the world, and some people climb mountains so that the world can see them." And yours was very like, "Oh, I don't really care about anyone else knowing I can time travel. I want to see the world." And you were kind of going like, "I want everyone to know that I time travel." Do you know what I mean?
If you
he's
want
part of the
that's what I'm saying.
Instagram
What I'm
crew.
saying is, If Luke wanted to talk to someone, because imagine you've seen history.
Yeah, but Ruth would believe me. Do you know what I mean? I could go home at the end of a long day of time traveling. I've just been in Egypt for like 4 hours. I could come back and she'd believe me.
I don't think she would.
Yeah, because I'd appear in the room. I would make it obvious that I've been time traveling. I'd be like, I'm back in the room, and she'd be like, where'd you come from? I'd just be like, Egypt.
Mad thing.
That's a big, like, great power comes great responsibility. Do you think you'd feel overwhelmed with the responsibility to do stuff like kill a baby Hitler? Or
you could also ruin the entire world.
Do you know what? Genuinely, the only reason I would kill baby Hitler, this might sound, is because I think the world would be a better place without the technological advancements that we made in World War II.
And also millions of people would still be alive.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah, that bit that you don't
that's
give a fuck about. You are evil deep down.
No,
you don't care about people.
My point is that it's just like you shouldn't really alter with history, because
there are some people that when you say that do say like if you hadn't, you wouldn't have had the idea like, oh, Hitler was an awful guy and someone else would have come along and could have been worse. So the fact that like Hitler exists and what happened, we look at that a lot and learn a lot. Not enough, but like to, we're not
it's obviously human nature that, along the line, there's going to be an anomaly where someone is like that. As you're looking down the years, there's been dictators. It's obviously human nature, right?
Like, imagine if it wasn't Hitler, it was someone else during that period
Luke
of time.
Martin.
And that person didn't try and attack the Soviet Union, and therefore they actually won the war on the Western Front.
It's a mad thing right now.
There is a TV show
we could be
about
speaking German.
There's a TV show all about it.
Deliveroo driver. He looks like one. It's good. My final question of the entire evening. Because wait, do we need to get the train soon?
Yes, you do.
Wait, we can catch the.
Got to do an ad read as well. Remember
154, and we've got to do an ad read.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll make the 21.
All right, Legans. You are in every YouTube video. How? How do you think this has happened, that ArthurTV has cracked onto the scene and now he's everywhere in everyone's video? What is the secret weapon that you hold?
I'm probably quite easy. I think a lot of the YouTube lot know that if they ask me, like you speak to Chris, he's working, he's doing a 9 to 5 in his office. He's got big teams and stuff. A lot of the Simon stuff, film a lot. I feel like a lot of them know that they can ask me and I'll say yes. But I do also think that like we're all friends. We get along really well. We enjoy each other's company. I'd like to think that when I tend to appear in people's videos, the response tends to be quite positive.
Yeah, that's good.
I do agree.
So I think it's a mix of people going like, oh, who can I ask? Well, this guy will say yeah, and it will be beneficial for the video in a couple of senses.
Guaranteed
so
great
why not?
content.
Thank you.
Guaranteed great vibes.
Yeah, because it always seems George Clarkey and ArthurTV, if you've got that combo, even a little row to shore in there, boom, that's always going to bang.
Magic.
Yeah. Quite interesting, isn't it?
We've been a great guest on this.
Yeah,
Thanks,
very
family.
insightful.
It's been a lot deeper than most podcast appearances I've done before, but I really enjoyed it.
A lot deeper than most waffling episodes.
I've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's really interesting to have these.
Love you all.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want to get your anonymous questions in, let us know. Theo, what's the email? The boys, the question email that people can send into?
The boys
Yeah.
at wafflin.
Yes.
The boys at wafflin.co. You've got it.
First ever time.
Wow. That's what you can get it in at, and you can ask us, and we will completely keep you anonymous for future episodes. Thank you, everybody. We will see you in the next one.